I was a bit slow there, wasn't I? Hello, everyone. Nick from Claret and Booze, and John, Virgil, and Gary. Hope you're all well. Going to be a bit of a hybrid show tonight. We're going to be doing the Boozecast and a bit of a booze up as well. Just going to have a chat about things in general, and we've got some questions that you've all sent in. We've got one from Mickey. We've got one from Sam, and during this show as well. If you do want to send in any more messages, please do. You can do, and we'll play them and go through it without screening them as well. That'd be interesting. So you can properly
no C bombs, no C bombs, no
C bombs. Got
your bleep ready?
Yeah. I have, yeah. I'll bleep after they swear, yeah, because that's probably how it work.
Yeah.
Just show the effort. But yeah, well, how are you, John? Anyway, as things?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm just getting ready to go to Spain on Sunday, So
are you all packed?
All packed. I'm getting in the mood with some Estrella, trying to get into the culture of it all. But yeah, so my cab broke down yesterday, so I can't actually get it fixed till after the bank holiday because the part ain't in. So I've had to retire early in our plan. So yesterday, today, Saturday, no work, but at least it gives me time to prep for Sunday and get on the plane.
Yeah. Hopefully you don't get it. Hopefully there's no mechanical issues with a plane, John. These
Why
things.
Why would you say that? You fuck.
So John.
You know I don't like flying. Why have you said that?
John, I ain't got no plane.
He is. They have to drug him to get him on the plane.
John, I'm drinking Estrella, mate. Nick's probably drinking a Malbec or something like that.
It is a Malbec, yes.
Yeah, look, what a tart. Who drinks that? Christ almighty.
Oh, dear.
So I'm just looking forward to going away, really. Nice little...
Fucking Gary's got a glass of milk.
No, what it is Monster to keep myself awake because it's late at night. It's past my bedtime, you know what I mean?
It's late at night.
I've been behaving myself this week. No drink, no nothing. I've been eating well. I've been running. I've been doing everything this week. So I'm bang on it at the moment. So I'm just going to go and have a couple of drinks before the game tomorrow. Just
to interject, did you say we had a voice note from Mickey Smith?
Yes.
We're not going to play it because of this comment. I don't want to hear him on here. So you've ruined it for yourself, Mickey. So I mean,
So John, when you say you're going to sort of bury yourself in the culture when you're over there, will you land just in time to get a full Sunday roast?
Bingo.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to Salou. I've never been there.
It's supposed to be all right there, actually.
Which is quite close to Barcelona. I'm not going to go look at cathedrals and shit like that. You know what I mean?
So how's that working then? Because it's a tour, isn't it? Are you in one place or are you travelling around?
You're in one hotel, and the teams that you're playing against come to you.
Right.
So you in essence, although you get put up in a football area and there's a football stadium, and all the other teams come and play you basically, rather than you do all the travelling, which is probably easier. I suppose it works out cheaper for the club Orient, as well.
How many games?
In total, we've got 6 games. He's got 6 games.
They beat Millwall the other day, didn't they? You were saying?
Oh, we beat Millwall 3-2 the other day. Feisty game. My boy got verbally abused by a Millwall fan parent. So nothing changes. Nothing changes,
No. Yeah. Oh dear.
How you been? What you been up to? Used to anyway. Go on, Gal. What you doing?
Well, no, I've been trying to be healthy this week because I had like a month away, didn't I? I went, Florida, Dublin, then New York, and I ate too much, drank too much. Came back, I was over 18 stone on Monday, so I thought, fucking hell, time to behave myself again. So this week I started me couch to 10K for lapsed runners, right? Because I haven't run for a year and a half, and that's going all right. So I'm following it to the T and the diet. High protein, low carb, being a good diabetic. You know what I mean?
So, what is the drink you've got? What is it?
It's just a can of low sugar Monster to keep me awake.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'll tell you what I'm going to throw up. I'm just going to throw this up. This is for one of our regulars. He watches every show. It's Dave from Rainham, and this is a picture that his 7-year-old grandson Dylan did for him. Look.
That's
just sent that
brilliant.
In. Very good, isn't it?
That's brilliant.
Not bad for set. Which one am I though? Do you reckon?
Well, there's 4 of us on screens. That must have been when we had a guest.
Nigel.
Yeah, you're probably top left because you're like the governor. Yeah.
Well, that one top left's got the biggest head.
Yeah, that would be.
And
you,
also,
John.
it looks like you're sitting. It looks like you've got a tree next to you as well. Yeah. Whichever one of them 4's the good-looking one is me. And
of course.
whichever one's got grey hairs, Gary, I suppose. But, yeah.
But well done, Dylan. Nice little bit of art there. There you go.
Yeah.
Well done, Dylan.
Yes, I know. So, what are your thoughts on the developments with the Moyes situation? Anyway, I mean, let's get into let's talk about this. So you've heard what's been you've heard what's been said. I mean, a few channels today, you know, they've run stories on, you know, Moyes is going after Fulham, and then they've said no, he's not. But the information that we've all had is pretty much the same. It's just people are interpreting it differently, and that is that David Moyes is on borrowed time. It's temporary until such a time that David Sullivan can find a replacement. That's basically it. They're not going to let him go until they've got a replacement lined up, which just seems bizarre. So, I mean, what we will talk about first, what this does mean, John, is that they're dead against recruiting from within. Why? From a caretaker perspective.
Yeah, it does seem odd because you'd be hard pushed to get a manager of any note, in my opinion, and I know people disagree. You'd be hard pushed to get a manager of any note that will come in just until the end of the season, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, the rumour we heard with Rafa when he wanted to come in, but he wanted 2.5 or 3.5 year deal, whatever it was. That's the norm. You know, a manager unless a manager is really trying to rebuild his reputation, i.e. Frank Lampard, going back to Chelsea, which is a little bit different because obviously Chelsea's his club in terms of he played so many years there. I find it very odd because I just think that for me, if you're going to get rid of Moyes, which I don't think they'll do, by the way, you know, the fact that they won't do nothing is to me the worrying thing, or for me is probably more probable.
I think you're going to be surprised,
mate. Listen, I hope. The problem is, Nick. I
understand why you feel like that. Of course I do.
Yeah, but I know you're saying you understand why I'm surprised. But listen, no disrespect, right? But everything, you know, we've had this whole thing all day with ITKs, other channels, ITKs, back and forth, blah 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 blah. Anything you're drip fed directly from the club is number one, only information they want you to hear.
Yes, but John,
let me finish. Go on. Number two, that makes them look good.
Yes,
so
but
what
John,
I'm saying is,
they have never up to this point come out and basically not backed him. They are not backing him this time. They've said that he's.
Why are they not backing him?
They've come out after every single one before, and they've said that we back him. We think he's a man for the job. Yeah. You know, if we was going to recruit someone else, he would be the man that we're going to recruit. This is the first time their message has been different. They've said that's it's done.
Okay, so tell me the message. Just confirm the message.
He's here on a temporary basis until they can find someone else. That's the message.
Okay, but what that doesn't until they find someone. That's the key phrase. Yeah. So this is my point. It's a small world, football. Managers know what a knobhead Sullivan must be to work for. They're not going to be throwing their hat into the ring willy-nilly as much as you think they might be.
But there are managers. There are managers like Sam Allardyce or anyone else who would like. No, John. There are managers out there that are not in work that would like a nice little payday. When Moyes came in, they gave him a £2 million bonus for 2 months' work. That's all. That's what they'll get. If they bring someone in, it's 2 months' work. You get a big fat bonus if you keep us up.
But Moyes is exactly the same type of manager who I just mentioned. Was absolutely trying to rebuild his career, almost desperate, and that's the point. Not many managers will come in on a short-term few months.
No. But I think they've already established that they are not going to be recruiting a long-term manager now. They're not. They're recruiting a long-term manager in the summer. They're talking about bringing someone in to firefight. I mean, we heard Kerbishley mentioned, and to be quite honest, right? I mean, because my take on this, especially when you look at the fixture congestion, right? There's not going to be much time on the training field for this guy that comes in. There's just not. All we need is a motivator. You just need someone to come in, put their arm around the players, G them up, and basically galvanise everyone. And that's literally the job when they come in now. There isn't really any. There's not going to be hardly anything on the fucking training ground at all. It's a motivational guy is what we need.
That's common sense. That's a common sense thing to say, and it does make sense. And also, you know, Sullivan seems to do everything in a completely different way to every other club because other clubs are not afraid to fire managers, then go and look for a new one. You know, there are people from within the coaching team who could take charge. I mean, even Kevin Keane, who's running the under-18s, right? It could be anybody. It could be a combination of them all. But the thing is, if Sullivan is so detached to everybody in the club, firstly, how does he know any of them? Does he know their capabilities? And secondly, if he doesn't, how does he make a decision? How does he know whether they're capable or not?
Yeah.
So this is a bit of a head fuck for me. I'm worried that he's going to just try and take, he'll be speaking to Potter and speaking to, Rodgers maybe, and sort of saying to them, "Oh, I'll give you a cheeky little deal until the end of the season." No one's going to go for that. This has got to be. These are managers who have Rodgers has achieved things in the game.
The only one that could work there could be Rodgers. If Rodgers does want the job long term, he might take it on a 3.5-year deal. He might do.
Yeah, and surely it will be. Surely it will be, John. The deal would be right. Come in. You've got 9 games, 10 games to go. You're in the quarterfinals of a European competition, right? Try and win the European competition. Try and keep us up. If you keep us up, you get this huge bonus. If we go down, I will back you massively to get us back up again, because no one's going to blame you, because everyone knows it was too late when you come in.
I know what you're saying, and I get that idea of that contract. The only problem is we don't have much time. There is no time on the training pitch, as you've said, because there's no time between games hardly, right?
No.
So therefore, if Moyes does get the kick, if Moyes does get the boot, which I honestly don't think he will, if he does, the only option for me is to get a coach who's already there, who knows the players inside out.
I agree. I agree.
It has to be. It has to be that. Kirbishley hasn't managed since he left us in 2008, right? So to me, that is as far left field as you can imagine. That is, I'm not being horrible, that is ludicrous.
It is. But Kirbishley apparently has been involved in some capacity in the club, like in the youth setup, with training and stuff like that. He does know the blokes that are there. You know full well, whoever comes in now, they're going to be leaning on the backroom staff. The backroom staff are going to remain. They haven't got time to replace them. So that's all going to be there. Whoever comes in, they're going to be leaning on those guys anyway.
So what is the point then? So what is the point if literally they are there to just listen to everything Kevin Nolan says, or whoever else the coaches are?
There is no point. But then when you look at Chelsea, why have they brought Lampard back? Why have they done that?
He wasn't there that long ago. He knows a lot of them players. He knows the club. He knows the club's DNA inside out.
I know, but what I'm saying is, but they would have had the same thing. They would have had capable people in their backroom staff as well. So there must be a reason why people don't do that. I mean, I agree with you. I would put Nolan and Noble in charge. But look, let's face it, it's a nice fantasy, but Nolan isn't a great manager. He wasn't.
First of all, you don't know that. He was only player manager at Leyton Orient for a little while, maybe in Notts County or someone for a little while. I can't remember now. But you don't really know that. But I think someone put in the chat, I think Daniel Wakeman said, we don't need a manager, we need a coach. And that's the thing. You've got a coach ready-made. A ready-made coach is already there who probably does more on-field work than Moyes and has a better relationship.
There is only one person in that backroom staff that is qualified as a manager to come in and take over, and that's Warburton.
No, that can't happen. But
he's the only one.
Why is it? What do you mean he's the only one qualified?
Because he's got a managerial history. I'm not saying I fucking want that, but if you're going to recruit from within, he's got to be the one that ticks all the boxes for them. For Sullivan.
No, to me, if it's an internal appointment, it's got to be Nolan, and maybe a joint team of Nolan and Noble. That's what I've been saying for some time. They know the players. It's going to be, like you said at the beginning, Nick. It is really a coaching job now. It's about building the players up, building up their confidence, getting them to believe in themselves, and picking a formation and a strategy that allows us to go at other teams.
That is it. That's it. Yeah. Right, and. I'll tell you what. While I was watching West Ham Fan TV, the Friday Night Pint, we all was before we came on here, and Ryan said something that I didn't pick up on. We all saw we're spoken about the fallouts with backroom staff and everything else, visibly in some cases, like at Brighton with Nolan and the iPad incident. He picked up in that game. He noticed that when David Moyes was standing out there. He said the coaches never approached him once. They left him isolated on his own, as if to say, do you know what, this is your fuck up, you deal with it. Yeah. He said he was standing out there looking at the ground, completely isolated. Not once did anyone come out to him.
Oh, he keeps doing that. He did it the other night as well.
What's that?
You talking about the other night? You talking about
no. I'm talking about the 5-1 game. Yeah, Ryan said he said not once did they even bother coming out to him and talking to him this time.
No. Well, but if it's true what we've heard.
Yeah.
There's no
Why
point
would
in
you?
going out and talking to him because they don't listen anyway. So,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I just think that whole, me and Gary spoke about that. To me, when he does that, that's all. I honestly believe that is all for the cameras. That is almost like, look at me. I'm out here on my own. I'm looking at the grand. I don't know what to do with these boys.
Looking deep in thought, you mean? Looking deep in thought. And kind of...
Anyone, look, if I do it, watch me. Look, watch me now. It looks like I'm deep in thought, but all I'm thinking of is my next sip of Estrella. Watch, I'll do it. Watch, go on.
That's looking up. They ain't looking down.
I can't look down. You won't see me eyes, but you know what I'm saying. Look, I'll look down.
That's it. You're asleep now.
I'm
John,
thinking, ain't I? I'm deep
John,
thinking.
You couldn't look deep in thought if you tried, mate.
You look like you're asleep.
Yeah, you do.
Well, you better be your monster because you'll be asleep in a minute.
But yeah, so look, I do think that it's quite clear they're not going to do that. They're not going to have the caretaker manager. They are going to get someone in. But who that is, I don't know. But like I say, there will be a long list of people. I mean, look, you rolled your eyes earlier. I said on the video that I done earlier, right? I said every manager that comes in, you look at Roy Hodgson, right? Roy Hodgson is not an attacking manager, but he's come in at this point in the season with Palace, and he's done that. He's gone, do you know what, boys? He's put his arms around it. He said, just fucking go out there, have fun, score some goals. That's what he's done, because this is not his mess. He's come in and he's just got to motivate them. That's all he's got to do. The only person that probably wouldn't do that would be Sam Allardyce, who probably would come in with a pragmatic approach, but he would keep us up. Yeah. And we would play differently. He wouldn't be playing Danny Ings up front on his own, would he?
No, look, I'd hate to see him come back, but no, that's exactly
what even for the final 10 games.
Yeah. There's no way any manager worth their salt, given the games that we've got left, because I know there are 3 or 4 tough ones, but there are also a bunch of winnable ones as well, right? Yeah. Any manager worth their salt. So we've got Fulham, then we've got Arsenal, so we haven't got our next league game for, you got to probably write the Arsenal one off. So we've got to start focusing on the games after that, right? So if someone came in now, they would have a couple of weeks until the next meaningful league game, right? Well, I think the one after that is it. That's not Liverpool ain't straight after that, is it? I can't remember. I'll have to have a look.
Someone said here, look, WF has said Irvine.
You know what? I had that thought earlier. I thought, I wonder if he would.
Now he's left the club ages. He ain't going to come back now, is he?
Why?
I wonder if why did he leave, mate?
Why did he leave?
Well, yeah, I get that. But
would he betray his mate? Would he betray Moyes because he's his mate, isn't he?
Is he his mate?
You could say the same as what happens at Spurs, because obviously that coach who's in charge now, he's like Conte's right hand man, and he's actually stayed with him, isn't he?
Yeah.
Usually they leave with him, don't they? So
yeah, but it's like but they again, they was talking earlier on, and they kind of echoed my sentiments a little bit when people were talking about we started really well, which we did, Moyes can't be held accountable for individual errors. Yeah. But you know something? Yes, you fucking can. If you're managing a team to the point where they've got no belief left in themselves, the system isn't right, you can't be surprised when people start making fuck-ups and slip-ups and stuff like that. I mean, you can't. There is a reason. They're all good players, and they made basic mistakes. They're all terrified. They're all terrified.
Yeah, but also what you've got to remember is they're terrified because we're in the situation of relegation. And we have to give Newcastle credit because they don't let you rest on your laurels. They push a very high line, but I know what you're saying, but I still think Aguerd's mistake is unforgivable, especially the timing of it. I won't get over that.
No one's making any excuses over the individual mistakes. They shouldn't happen with well-paid professional footballers, but they do happen because it's a sport at the end of the day, and stuff happens in sport, doesn't it? Right?
Do you know what I didn't? Do you know what I didn't like about the Aguerd thing just before? Because we talk about confidence. That stupid fucking backheader he done. Great.
Was confident though, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, but if you're that's what I'm saying to you. If you're 2-1 up or 3-1 up, but what the fuck's that when you're 2-1 down?
I know what you're saying. I said to Paul at the time, I said, fuck me, that was a bit casual, wasn't it? I mean, the way he did it. I mean, that could have gone either side of the keeper, right?
I know.
But then your argument that he's got no confidence is flawed, because doing that, you must have confidence.
He's got confidence, but what he's fucking mistake ridden. And I think a lot of people got way too carried away with Aguerd in the first few games. I do believe that. People have been saying, he's the next captain. Look at him, he's the next captain. I don't think he is. I don't think he's I don't think he's that. Yeah. No, I didn't. Yeah. No, I thought he was good, but I don't think Aguerd's that good. I genuinely don't.
He will be.
Mate, I'm not sure. I
think he will be. He's just having a moment. Listen.
He's had a few moments now.
We don't really possess one defender that is a mistake prone. I think Emerson's probably our most reliable defender.
which is
Funnily
bizarre,
enough.
isn't it?
At the moment,
Yeah,
yeah.
bizarre.
At the moment.
Just quickly before we move on, because it's an interesting comment, and this is from Kenneth Stark, who's a Toon fan. Toon fan. I'm a Toon fan.
Yeah.
West Ham deserve better than Moyes. His era is over. I just want to. The reason I brought
It
it
is.
up is because I've watched a lot of Newcastle social media since the game. I've seen a lot of videos and that, and I've got to say, I'm actually it got me a little bit emotional because the Newcastle fans are really on our side. Like,
Mate, have you seen the comments on our videos?
No, we've got some blinding
also
comments. I used to go to Newcastle every second week to work. I love it up there. They're a blinding group of supporters.
But they was
really
like really like West Ham don't deserve this stadium. They deserve better. They was a good club at Upton Park. Blah. You know, apart from getting the obvious little bit of a snipey comment, which you don't.
Oh, you're gonna get that. You're gonna get that.
But they was they was really praising us as fans and sort of liking our situation to theirs with Ashley to some extent.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah. That's it. No, I completely agree. And we had a lot. There was a lot of comments on our most recent videos as well from different Newcastle fans. So yeah, it was good to see.
Yeah.
But look, they're a good team. Do you know what? I'm going to say this now. They are going to be an amazing team. They've spent well. That's what they've done. We've spent more, right? But I do believe that our team, if it was coached by Eddie Howe, and if David Moyes was coaching that team, the result would have been the same. Paqueta, right? Everyone's talking about Bruno Guimaraes at the moment. Everyone's talking about him. If we'd have got Bruno and they'd have got Paqueta, everyone would have been talking about Paqueta.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That is a difference.
I don't know if you saw the West Ham Fan TV fan cams after the game. They actually had the Newcastle
a Geordie one. Yeah, I saw him. Yeah,
and he said the West Ham team is better than ours. He basically said that, like on paper. He said it. He said it. So that's an interesting comment, you know?
Yeah, but this is why I think any manager worth their salt, like for instance, if we got Rodgers in, I'm not so sure about Potter just because I think his confidence will be.
I've got concerns about him now.
A little bit shot to pieces at the moment after that Chelsea experience. The fucking players were calling him Harry Potter and stuff like that behind his back, and he was having team. The fucking American has bought so many players. He was doing team talks, and after team, there's not enough seating space. They're sitting on the floor, right?
I'd say he certainly know Chuck Norris though, because that would never have happened to Chuck Norris, would it?
No.
Yeah,
not in a million years.
The only thing I'd say about that gal, mate, he's been in football a long, long time, and if he's really upset about being called Harry Potter, which is basically 50% of his name, he's got to throw a set of balls.
He said to his coach, "What do the players think of me?" and stuff like that. And I think this is where I'm sorry, you've got to have self-belief, and that takes me back to Brendan Rodgers, who has untold self-belief.
Oh, he loves himself.
He is chocolate, and he would eat himself.
He's chocolate. But for me, out of all the managers, and I know this is unpopular, that is why I was so surprised when we did that poll, even when we did the poll on our channel. He isn't fancied. I don't know why. He was a fucking hair's breadth away from winning the league with Liverpool. He was. I know people roll their eyes at what he did in fucking Scotland, but now everyone wants Ange Postecoglou like I do, based on that. He was brilliant in Scotland. He was brilliant at fucking. He's a good manager. He's genuinely good, and he is. He's a progressive manager. He's
not long term, mate. He's not long term though.
He's got but which manager is John?
Well, we can. Well, if you like, I know they're different sort of scenarios, but we need to get a manager in with a massive long term plan in place, both on and off the pitch. It's not going to happen.
I think. Do you know what I think you need, John? Do you know what I think you need? You just need a philosophy in the club. You need someone at the club to say, right, we're gonna go for a progressive passing game. So you go out, you get a progressive passing manager like Brendan Rodgers. When he runs his course, you go out and you get the next fucking one. Then your philosophy is set by the club, and you get managers that fit that mould. All managers will run their course in the way that I think Brendan Rodgers did at Leicester. But although partially, what I will say is I do think he's had the rug pulled out from under his feet at Leicester as well.
He has. They've sold his players. They've sold his best players. Yeah. And also, what I'd do is I'd say two different things, right? I would take Rodgers now because I firmly believe he could keep us up because of the character he is. I would take Potter in the summer because Potter needs a project and he needs time with the players. He needs to bed them in. He needs to get rid of the ones he don't want, bring in the ones he does want, right? He needs to do his project. I think he basically went to Chelsea. The club was too big for him and the egos are too big for him.
Yeah.
you know, how many players do you sign on 8-year contracts? That American, I mean, fucking hell. That's
I think what Chris has said there, though, what Chris has said there, Chris, there's a difference between self-belief and delusion. David Moyes is fucking deluded.
yeah.
Honestly, he's deluded. This can't be right from Vinay, surely. In Austria and Sweden, Potter built team spirit by making players act in a theatre. I'm not sure that suits the Premier League. Please, no, he didn't, did he?
That'd be brilliant, though, because we could have, I don't know, we could have a West Ham performance of My Fair Lady or something at the end of the year.
You'd like that, wouldn't you? You like a musical?
Yeah, I like a musical. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can wear Cuban Hills with Brendan Rodgers then. What do you think about like the left field stuff though of managers like Kirbishley, and obviously someone in the chat's put, what would you take Harry Redknapp and all that? I mean, I would take Redknapp, because if but like I said earlier on, at this stage, it's like they've brought Roy back, Palace. You just need someone who's going to come in and motivate and put your arm around a few players. Who better than Harry Redknapp?
Well, yeah, exactly. For if you're talking about building confidence, picking an attacking formation, no one better than Harry Redknapp to do that. He'd pick the best players. It'd be like it'd be attacking. It'd be attacking as well. It'd be like the Harlem Globetrotters. It'd be like every attacking player we've got priced into that team.
It's a good point from Guarino.
Guarino says, "Don't worry about theatres with Potter. It's already a pantomime." Gary, quick question. Gary, is your favourite musical The Sound of Music? Discuss.
No, but I've been to see it. Me and Nick took our mum to see that because that was her favourite TV musical. So we went to see it, didn't we, Nick?
Yes, we did. Just something about Gary fancies himself as a bit of a karaoke singer.
Yeah,
and you know what? He regularly when we was down the caravan, we used to go down the caravan. He used to warm his voice up, didn't you, Gal? Do you remember?
I used to.
He used to warm his voice up before he left the caravan.
You fucking liar!
I've seen him hog the mic at one of your barbecues before, Nick.
Yeah. He loves it.
What? Burnley are promoted.
Congratulations,
thoroughly deserved. I mean, people are talking about Vincent Kompany. Yes, of course I would, but there's no way he's going to leave that project there.
No,
I think he'll do very well with Burnley next year.
Then he'll get the City job.
He'll probably get the City job. You know, he's got something about him. You know, he really has. I like him. I think he's going to be a top manager. There's always a risk.
That comment is so unkind.
What's that?
Look at that. It's really unkind.
Right. Shall I play? What this wasn't supposed to be. This came in before you put the request out. This is James. This is Dave Hurst, mate.
James, what's his name? Bongy? No.
I can't think of his surname now.
From Bedfordshire.
That's it. Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. So he's got a question here, and it's a query based on it's not a query. It's a theory based on the video that I did earlier on where I mentioned Kirbishley.
Mm-hmm.
All right, hang on. Let's play this.
All right, mate. Hope all's good. Watched the video this morning. I just had a quick point to make about Kirbishley. I can't see it, Kirbishley, to be honest. Yeah, I know I'm not denying his name's been mentioned, and obviously you've got that from Sean or whoever, so it's definitely been mentioned. But I think this might be what they did before. I think it was Pellegrini, or was it before Bilic, with Chris Hughton. And sometimes I think with Sullivan, what he does is he sticks a name out there that no one wants, just so when whoever gets announced.
This is my take.
An uplift, if you know what I mean. Like, I think obviously it's not going to be a Mancini or this or that. It'll be, I don't know who it will be, but it won't be Kirbishley. But I think Kirbishley's name's getting put out there just so whenever who it is announced, it's an upgrade on Kirbishley. I remember, like I say, they did it with Chris Hughton. I can't remember whether it was before Bilic or before Pellegrini. The last week there was big rumours about Chris Hughton. So then when Bilic got announced or Pellegrini got announced, they were, that's better than Chris Hughton. And I think that's what Kirbishley could possibly be.
A distraction.
He is bang on. He is bang on, in my opinion. Either he's setting the expectations low because he's setting the bar low for a new manager and we're not going to be particularly in love with the new manager, or he's saying we're better off with Moyes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. No, well, yeah, there could be a bit. No, but yeah, but look, listen. you saw the messages between me and Sean.
Yes.
And Sean likes to sort of probe a little bit.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, if you get rid of Moyes, if you get rid of Moyes,
Who are you gonna have?
Are you gonna? No. What is it he used to say? He used to say Benitez. You'll get Benitez if we get rid of Moyes. And now he's gone Kirbishley. And I still said, I said fuck off first of all. But I said, you know what? No, I'll take him. I will. If it's got to be Kirbishley, if that's all, if it's Moyes, and as long as he's gone, clearly nobody would pick Kirbishley. But do you know what? For the last few games, I think anyone would be hard pushed to do a worse job than what Moyes is doing.
Are we in a scenario now where it's literally anybody but Moyes?
Yes, 100%.
For me, yeah.
100%. Anyone. Think of someone that could do a worse job apart from Avram Grant.
Listen. I know Moyes has been shocking. I'm not taking it away from him.
Yeah.
But bringing someone who hasn't been in the game for about 15 years, that is a fucking massive risk.
But John, you are underestimating the negative impact that Moyes is having on the club and the squad. Right? If you take that bloke away,
no, I'm not underestimating it.
Suddenly it's like a breath of fresh air, right? It's a breath of fresh air. People can breathe again and start thinking about something else, right? And if there's a temporary manager in there for 9 or 10 games, it can be their mate, right? Because he's going at the end of the season.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
But look what Mace says here. The place needs a lift.
It's a good point.
He's got the personality of a double glazing salesman.
Yeah, he does. Sadly, he does.
Yeah, no. He has. But then you might, but you might say that about Roy Hodgson. You might think. All I'm saying is, I think whatever manager got that job, because you would approach it differently, Gary. If you was going into say you was taking over a club at the start of a season, you're going to do a rebuild job. It's all on you. It's a very different job to coming in and putting your cape on and doing a rescue attempt in the last 10 games. You can't lose because you ain't going to get blamed if you get relegated. All you got to do is come in, pick those players up who are fucking on the floor, pick them up, build a bit of team spirit, give them some self-belief, send them out there to enjoy themselves. That is all you've got to do.
Yeah, because the future doesn't matter to you. It's really the only objective that matters is you getting over the line this year, right?
Exactly.
And you're probably on a massive bonus for getting over the line as well. And that's the only pressure you got, right? And that's not really pressure.
No, I agree. But no, that is a good point, and I must admit, I do. It is kind of what I thought as well when Kirbishley. Well, first of all, I thought, oh fuck off, Kirbishley. He's just winding us up. But then again, would it surprise you? Would it surprise you if they were to bring Kirbishley in?
I'll tell you what, it would really piss me off if they were so short-sighted that they couldn't find someone else other than Kirbishley. But I would give Kirbishley my full support.
Yes, right.
I don't care. I don't care who it is. Bring someone in.
No, I agree. Well, let's get the voice messages done. So I've got two. I've got Sam from Baz Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Sammy. Let's play Sam's.
Sammy boy.
How you doing, boys? Sam from Baz Vegas here again. The beautiful place where even the Rottweilers carry knives. Right, let's get on with the question. Trying to be a bit different with it because I know you're probably getting a lot of the same shit coming up. So say we do stay up, obviously Rice goes. Who are you having as captain next year? Me personally, I would go Old Flad. I think I've said it before in some of the chats, and I've been shot down saying that he was poor at the beginning of the season. But, mate, the geezer always gives 110%.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to take any shit off anyone. And like I say, I know Rice gives a lot of, always puts 110%, but it must be hard. Believing in him, really. Like if he was my captain, I'd be sitting there thinking, hang on, mate, why would I listen to you? You've already got 1 foot out the door, like. But that's my opinion. Go on then. Who's you reckon?
Can I tell you? I've got a good answer. Right? On the basis that I believe a new manager comes in and I think he'll spot this boy as being the future of West Ham, who loves West Ham, and he's going to be the central defensive midfielder who's happy to sit there and organise stuff. Flynn Downs.
No,
I know it's early. But what about with a pre-season?
Yeah. I'll get you thinking, West Ham boy, supporter. I'll get all that. Maybe, yeah. I don't think he's experienced enough, like playing Premier League football yet. I get what you're thinking, but
he's older than Deck.
Huh?
He's older than Deck.
Yeah, but he ain't got the Premier League experience. Deck's played all his football in the Premier League. He's played near on 200 games in the Premier League. With all due respect to Downs, as good a player as he may be or has been or is, he's 99% of his games have been in the Championship. And I know the Championship's a tough league. I get that. But this is a step up and a half.
Yeah.
And he's not international. There's a lot to be said for Downs, but
and
from what I've seen,
there's a lot of pressure on Downs as well. And what I will say is, I don't think he's quite as good as our rose tints tell us. I think he's going to be a good squad player, Gary. I don't think, for instance, Gary, for instance, if he's coming in to replace Declan Rice in that role, he ain't Declan Rice.
No, he's not Declan Rice. He's not going to be. He's going to be someone who is happy to sit and guard the defence. To be that. I mean, he ain't going to be surging forward like Declan.
Yeah, but that's
Rice,
not. Yeah, but that's not a simple job. Rice's job, right?
No.
Half the reason Rice is so good at what he does is his brain and his football brain, the way he moves into space and he just intercepts things. Rice sometimes he's so fucking good at what he does. He don't have to fly into tackles and stuff like that. Whereas Downs, but Downs spends half the game on his arse because he's always sliding into tackles.
We haven't got another Rice. We're talking about someone. It's got to be someone at the back or in midfield. In my opinion, you don't give a striker or a winger or
it's got to be someone who's seeing the whole game.
Yeah, I wouldn't give a keeper captaincy either.
I would.
Be one in the back four.
See, my one for next season, and I mean this now, based on the fact that on looking at the personnel we've got, if we brought no one else in, based on that, I would bring Areola in and I would let him play every game and I would get him at the back to be the captain because I don't see Zuma as a leader. I wouldn't give it to Aguirre. Vladimir Soufal, I just don't. The trouble is, I completely agree. He is a leader, and he is in that mould, and he would run through brick walls, and he probably would be a good leader. I just don't think he's good enough.
And I think he might be off, and that was my thinking. Yeah. He might, Soufal might be gone at the end of the season. I wouldn't give it to Emerson because I don't think he's a leader either.
No.
Right, so I'm struggling, and when I start thinking about players, I wouldn't give it to Paqueta. Well, Paqueta maybe.
I'll tell you what. So if we got relegated and we could keep Soufal, I'd make him a captain for the Championship, 100%. Yeah. I would do.
I might have just stumbled across something there though, because Paqueta is definitely one who
he could be.
He organises. He likes to get stuck in. He plays deep. He can see everything that's going on the pitch. That might be a good string to his bow.
Yeah, but this is a great point from Jay Woods, and I think someone said it the other day. Gwed speaks about 3 or 4 languages to get them. We lauded over the fact that Will Steele spoke in all these different tongues to people. If you've got a captain who can speak to all these new players that come in the door, for 3 or 4 languages, got a grasp of English as well. It has to be a defender for me. It has to be a centre back.
I've got to see him playing a lot better than what he's doing at the moment. For instance,
the whole team are a little bit off it at the minute.
Oh, mate, them mistakes that he made weren't even fucking pressured, and like we've already said, he was lackadaisical. He ain't like he's lacking confidence. It was poor.
I don't know. I don't think you need an extensive vocabulary on the football pitch, do you, John?
No, just usually C bombs and F bombs a lot of the time, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think he said "fuck" in 4 different languages the other night, didn't he? When the club.
But based on who we've got at the moment, for me, that's probably what I would do. I would go for, and it can work. I mean, look, Schmeichel was a captain for Leicester.
Hang on.
Oh yeah. I've
got one here. I've got one here that'll really cheer you up, Nick. Sorry, Gal, to interrupt you.
Go on.
Somebody said, "What about
Souček?"
Oh no! Do you know something? If Souček, I would actually love nothing more at this point than for Souček to actually recover some form because I think we've broken him.
I
think we've destroyed him as a player.
I agree, and he would be captain material if he was back to his old best. He would be captain material.
Yeah, I think I'm not anti Souček the person. No. I just think at the moment I'm more for taking Souček out of the team for him as I am for West Ham because it's fucking cruel.
I just think there are so many players that Moyes has ruined, and I think we need to see them with fresh eyes under a new manager before we make our mind up. Right, Souček at the moment, that's not the Souček of old, right? We know that.
It's not. But if you look at it, he's out of form. He's playing in central midfield. We're probably one of the best, two of the best central midfielders around. All right, we might not say that about Paqueta yet, but they are high quality fucking central midfielders, way better than him. You can see the minute he gets that ball, he wants rid of it.
Yeah, but this is
he wants rid of it. He's like, I don't fucking want it.
Jonathan Boyce here. That's a great shout as well.
Oh yes.
Oh, that's a great. That is
a fucking good shout.
Yeah,
because
that's
he
a good
loves.
shout.
He
I
loves
would
the
love
fans.
to see that. I would love to see that.
He loves the clubs. The players love him.
Yeah.
Most of the fans love him as well.
And
It's
you
just
see how
game
much
time,
of
isn't it?
a
It's just game time.
forgotten man he is. None of us three didn't think of that.
No. And the funny thing, the funny thing is, like someone said, Cresswell, and a few years back, Cresswell, but he's not up to Premier League standard anymore.
He's in his last year, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, and we have lost a lot of leaders on and off the pitch, and I think that is a massive problem for us this season.
Yeah, I agree.
It is. Right, let's throw Mickey the troublemaker Smith.
Wow, Mickey Smith here. Wow.
Let's throw him up. The crafty cockney.
Mickey Smith, mate. Mickey Smith, mate.
Hello, Claret and Booze. It's Mickey. Hope everyone's doing well. Listen, I've got a breaking bit of news for you.
Oh.
So what it is, actually, I think I'll leave it for a couple of weeks. I think I'll sit on it for a couple of weeks. Plus, it was told to me by a friend of a friend of a friend's friend. So I don't think we're going to hear it. Might not be reliable.
Brilliant.
So here's my question for you instead. So, actually, first of all, ain't it mad? Just a rumour, and it is just a rumour at the moment, but there's a now real possibility that Sullivan's going to get shot on Moyes. Ain't it mad how it just lifts you up?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm happy today for a long time as a West Ham fan. But my question is, right, so say Moyes does get the old team intact, what would you get shot of all the backroom staff, like all the coaches and that as well?
No, not straight away.
Go on, let me go first on this one. Let me go first on this one.
Noland and all that, but I don't know. I just think that it needs a whole refresh, personally. Like, and even if you say that Moyes has took control over all coaching and all that stuff, like training, then for me, they're not big enough characters for me to, like, stand up and say, listen, this is how it's going to be. So me personally, I would get shot of all the backroom staff as well. Have a fresh start. Let's turn it, like, let's be proactive. And go progressive, or whatever the thing is. Anyway, lads, be lucky. Come on, you Irons.
Cheers, mate. Right, now, me personally, I know what you're going to say. At the moment, at this stage, before the end of the season, would I? No. Would I at the end of the season? Do you know what? I'm 100%. I think if we're going to move on and we want to move towards a new style and everything else, fucking Nolan's never played a progressive style in his life. He's never played in a team that played that way. You need, and you know something? Successful clubs. Alex Ferguson used to rotate his coaching staff and everything else every couple of years to keep it fresh. Yep. I think people get stale. I think players get stale. I think there's a danger that coaches also get stale as well. I think you do need new ideas. And like for me, yes, I would. I like all those characters. I love Nolan, but there's no room. There's no room for all this fucking jobs for mates loyalty shit. I'm sick of it at West Ham. I want people to come in that can do the fucking job. That's what I want. And you know what? I know it's harsh, but for me, 100%, it isn't because I think that they've done anything wrong, and their heads aren't going to roll because of what Moyes has done. But I do think if we're going to move on, you don't just need a new manager. You need an entirely new top-class setup. So hopefully a manager will come in the summer with a new fucking team, to be quite honest. Something completely new and fresh in that team. I think that's what we need.
Yeah, I agree with that. You don't get rid of them now. You need continuity when the manager goes. End of the season, when a new manager comes in, whenever that is, it's up to the new manager. But I would guess they'd all be going.
Yeah. Nolan's been here for ages. He's kind of maintained it throughout.
Well, I thought that, but I made that mistake of thinking that about Nolan. But someone messaged me and said that Moyes brought him to the club, but I'm sure he was there before Moyes. So
he's been there for a while, wasn't he?
Was he?
Nolan?
I don't know. I might be totally wrong, but I just think I think personally,
I'm sure he was there he was there under Pellegrini, wasn't he?
I don't know what the other coaches do, and maybe me liking Nolan is because he was a captain of the club and all that. But I genuinely think that he's got a good reputation with the players. I see it when they come off and on the pitch. He high fives them all and taps them on the back and gives them a little thing.
Yeah,
for me, he has to stay. But you're right. If you bring in a manager of any note, they generally have their whole team with them. The problem is, Nick, we're probably not going to get that type of manager with the little geezer upstairs in charge, and that's always going to be. I know it's boring, keep saying it, but
that's what Mickey meant. Look, meant when the season ends.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, Gal. I should have been clearer. I said when the season ends, mate.
Yeah.
Mickey Smith is the most cockney geezer I've ever heard.
He is proper crafty cockney.
Apart from Danny Dyer.
But yeah, so look, that's the end of those messages. John, do you want to read out the couple of the?
I'll read out a couple
others
of
that we've
them.
had.
Hang on, people. Let me find it. I'm good with tech. Hang on.
He's really good, yeah.
Right, this is from on our community page of our YouTube channel. In the community. Evening, boys. Do you think it's time to focus the energy on Sullivan now instead of Moyes? The news about Kirbishley couldn't sum him up any better. He probably faxed him. He's an absolute cancer to the club, and we need to cut him out. Sully, Brady, Silky, Salty, and Moyes out. Basically. Yeah,
yes. And I'll tell you what, John. I'll tell you what, in response to that, we can't be like we were, and I don't want to go on about it, but when I went out to Derby and we beat them in the FA Cup, Derby was singing, "We've got a super whatever," right? And then our crowd started singing, "We've got a super David Moyes," and I was so annoyed because we would fucking joint third from bottom at the time. I was thinking, oh no,
I know,
because they're listening to it, and apparently it came through loud and clear on the telly and everything else. We can't fall into that trap. Got to be controlled as fans, right? So my vote would go, even if we win tomorrow, right? At the end of the game, Moyes out or Sullivan out, sack the board. You know, sack the ball,
100%.
sack the ball.
It's got
even
to be
if we fucking win. Save it to the end of the game. Don't do it during the game. But end of the game, sack the board.
Well, listen. Fulham are off the back of like three losses, and I think 3 losses on the spin. They got beat by Bournemouth on the last game.
Yeah.
So beating them isn't no great shakes. I still don't think we're going to. I think we're going to struggle to beat them. I do, even though they're not on the best of form at the moment. I do
struggle to beat anyone, Nick. We're going to go there and go defence first again, aren't we? Can you expect anything else?
Well, especially because that was the other thing, and that's why I don't buy it. So, and I didn't get excited about that because, like I say, it wasn't a quote from the club. That's fucking troublemaking. Where people have come out and mentioned the Fulham game, and they said, David Moyes has definitely not got to lose that game. If he loses it, he's gone. Because that message is bullshit. Because then all you're telling Dave is get a draw. Just make sure you don't lose. That's no good. The message you should be giving a manager is, if that was the message, was you've got to win that fucking game.
Yeah,
you've got to win it, or you're gone. That is literally it.
Yeah, but no disrespect, Nick. But no offence to any of the people that I know fairly well or speak to with you lot, but I've said it a million times before, mate.
This was Jacob Steinberg, John.
Yeah, but But a journalist can still put anything out there and cover all the bases almost and get something right once in a blue moon. I just find it all so boring, mate. And not boring. I know we talk about it as well, so I sound a bit hypocritical, but I just find it like no one really knows what's going on except David Sullivan.
But I don't think David Sullivan really knows what's going on.
Right? Yeah. Well, possibly you're right there. But even the fact that it's been leaked that they're not 100% behind Moyes and we are looking for a new manager, that he may see that the fans are pissed off and that he's doing nothing and he's going, tell them that I am looking. He's just trying to make himself look a little bit better. Yeah.
Look, John, I'm not saying you're wrong, mate. I'm not saying you're wrong. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is there is no way if we were to lose tomorrow, there is no way he will still be here. He won't, because then come the next game, it will be fucking horrific. It will end up escalating into like Burnley again. If it would do. So the only way they could possibly keep him is if he managed to get some form of result tomorrow. Which he's done. He's done before. He has managed to do it. Yeah. But no, look. At the end of the day, if they do what they did with Avram Grant, and they completely ignore this and they sit on it, and this guy ends up getting us relegated, then Sullivan's going to need to go out to fucking hide him.
Sullivan has got to know that the focus is on him.
He's
right?
got. He's going to need to go into fucking hiding if he just lets this happen.
No, forget about that. No threats or anything, right? But he's got to know the focus
No, it's
is
not
on.
from me, but he
No, I
will,
know.
Gary. He will do.
He wouldn't
You know what the fans are like.
Well,
You know what the fans are like.
But the bloke just wants to be loved, right?
Yeah.
And whatever else, right? He thinks that Moyes is taking all the flack, right? He ain't seeing that we can see the root cause. The root cause is him, right? And so we've got to do that. We've got to do that tomorrow. We've got to sing "Sack the Bald" tomorrow. I know it's a nonsense song because you can't sack the bald, but it's the only song we've got, right? So let's put the focus on them.
The only thing that baffles me is that you just said it there, Gal, and Nick said it a million times before, and I disagree about the fact that Sullivan likes to be loved and liked. When has he ever been liked or loved at the club?
No, I know.
You're right.
Yeah.
So what? I don't know why you say that. I don't think he gives a monkey's about that.
And also, this season is proving that he isn't really giving a fuck about what the fans think because he's going against us completely. He's going against the club. I mean, there is something else here. There is something else as well. And like I say, I won't go into too much detail, but some other information that I've got.
Cheeky.
No, is about the board. We spoke about it earlier. Is about the board and the fact that there is, I don't know how many people on the board now. What is there? 12. Everything's got to go to a vote before anything gets passed. It's got to be fucking signed off. This could be. We think they're dragging their heels and they're dithering, but I don't think they are. I think they just can't agree on anything in the boardroom.
Maybe.
And there is a member of the board with a decent percentage that has been Moyes out for a while. Yeah, there is.
Yeah, no, I know, I've seen it, but
there actually is, but they're split.
Let me phrase it another way. It's a bit silly thing to me to say that Sullivan wants to be loved. Of course, he doesn't give a toss whether he's loved by us or not. We're just customers, right? Yeah. As they said on the last show,
he doesn't want to be embarrassed publicly. Is what he doesn't want.
That's what he doesn't want. He doesn't want the attention, right? Yeah. He doesn't want the attention. He'll be there tomorrow with his new bird, right? Let's embarrass him. Let's do our best to embarrass him. Yeah. It's a nice, quiet little. It's a little ground. We'll have a relatively big away following, right? The sound will carry, right?
Yeah. Well, you're there, Gal. You can start it up, son.
I'm doing my best.
Yeah, but I think something has got to happen. I mean, but then again, like you said, I mean, will the story that's been broken today and it will probably continue tomorrow, where he's going, will that have satisfied the crowd? Will they think, oh well, he's going anyway? Do you think that will? Because he's still there.
That's all he's trying to achieve, isn't it? He's trying to appease the fans for a short time.
Yeah.
He's trying to distract. He's trying to deflect it away from him. Look, I am trying to get a manager. Look at me. I'm trying.
And we've been through so much of this over the years that is what we automatically assume, right? That it's bullshit.
Yeah.
And you can guarantee. We're a cross section of fans. There's only 3 of us, but we're a cross section of fans. We know they're full of shit. We know he's full of shit, right?
Yeah. Very true. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Us three, innit?
Yeah.
I'll leave you to make your mind up with the ugly one.
Yeah. But anyway, John, give us another one.
Okay, let's go. This is from Joe Price. Love the show you guys do. Easily one of my favourite channels, and appreciate what you do. I know it's hard work, especially when we have to deal with our club in this state. Looks like we could potentially have another decent youth team coming through, and have also heard that Rodgers is good with the youth. If you could have anyone realistically that would come, who would you choose to bring in to potentially develop the youth into first team players as well as get us playing good football? That's it. Cheers.
Well, I think that I don't know, but I would say that Brendan Rodgers is not afraid to use youngsters and bring them on, develop youngsters, right? Whoever comes in must value what we're doing in the academy, right?
Yeah.
And that must be first and foremost, because I want to see young players given their chance when they deserve it. You know, for instance, shout out to those lads who those under 18s who won 6-1 the other night. Yeah. Amazing. And the star of the show, Divin Mabama, right?
Yeah.
The kid is some sort of player, and he will be a top player. I saw it, I think he came on for the last 10 minutes against Brentford or something like that. And I really like the look of him. And every time he comes on the pitch, I like the look of him. He really ain't afraid to put himself about. He definitely knows where the goal is. I want to see players like that given a little chance. I want to see him, you know, obviously not at the moment. We're struggling against relegation, but you know, even when times were good, Moyes was not giving. Even like, you know, when there was a game that we could easily win or were easily winning, you know, Moyes would not give a player 10 minutes, a young player 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the end. What is the harm in doing that? You've got to blood them.
The problem is, Gal, is that he don't even play Ings and Antonio or Scamacca together. So if you're only playing one striker, that's even harder for this under 18 player to get in. But
yeah,
I don't know if you read the article today after the impressive win yesterday against Southampton, but they estimate that there was 36 scouts at the game specifically watching Movember because of the amount of goals he's got.
Really?
Yeah, and the thing is that if you don't give these players a go at some point, someone else will take them off your hands, like we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
He looks like a proper player. He really does. I mean, you don't know until he's been playing with the big boys, but he's always done. He must have had 4 or 5 different sort of substitute cup appearances now, and he's looked good in every one.
He looked fucking full of confidence and enthusiasm. Probably a little bit too much. He wouldn't got himself booked. He ain't going to hide. He's not going to hide away. I think he's going to be okay. Definitely, I think he will be a good player.
And this is what I've said about Noble's role. I know we get caught up in the title of his role, but I truly believe that his role, whoever the manager is next season, because it won't be Moyes, hopefully.
Yeah.
Whoever the manager is, he will push some of these young players and say, "Look, you've got to start giving these a go." And I hope that if anything else, that Noble becomes the sort of middleman between these youth players getting a look in at first team level or there or thereabouts.
Yeah.
And I really think that we need to create our own rule within the club. You know, how many people are on the bench now? 9, is it, or something?
Yeah, you got to have at least three youth players on the bench or something.
Why don't
like
we impose our own rule and say, right, we're going to have at least 2 homegrown academy players on the bench, even just to get match day experience, if anything else. That's how I see it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
So anyone, basically, to answer that question, anyone who coaches and inspires youth for me would be good. And if it's Rodgers,
it's important. It is important to have that, and I think Rodgers would do as well. You know, if you've got someone who's with the way, especially because of the way that if you play a progressive game, so this is the other thing as well. If you play a progressive game, you need players with high energy. It's like if we'd have brought Bielsa in. There's a reason why Bielsa brings through kids. It's because when he goes into a club, quite often it's only the kids that have got the energy to deliver the fucking game that he wants to play.
Yeah.
But you know, he needs that sort of enthusiasm and everything else. And I think you will see that. Garino here, look. By the way, Nick describes getting his info. It sounds like he gets it on microfilm, hidden inside a newspaper, dropped at a letterbox in Birmingham.
You know what the thing is, Garino? He doesn't even tell me and Gary who he gets it from after. Gary's his fucking brother.
I did. I told you one earlier, didn't I, Gal?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I did,
Well, you didn't tell me.
I can't trust
you. You saw it.
You're not in the circle.
Oh, was it in the chat? Was it?
You said who's so and so.
Oh, and then you said it was so and so, and I said it was so and so.
Yeah.
Alec, thank you very much, mate. There's a C-bomb fund.
Good timing. Good timing, because we've got a question from Alec here.
Lovely stuff.
Here we go. That was a coincidence, wasn't it? This is Alec Bassingdale.
Go on.
I always get worried with someone called Alec. I always think they've spelt their name wrong. Don't know why. Evening, lads. Hope you are all well. This is about youth again. I'm worried about the current youth players. They're all playing well and doing excellent in their relevant age groups, but with Moyes in charge and us flirting with relegation, their chances are limited. Do you think relegation could be a blessing in disguise for the under-21s, under-18s?
Yes.
Because they would be ideal for the championship. Also, something Gary or John said months ago is stuck in my mind, but never understood it at the time. Moyes doesn't help himself. Now, I couldn't find a more fitting statement to describe the Moisasaur.
Yeah.
So, again, about youth. Nick, go on, you start.
No, I think we've said this before. Absolutely. I mean, look, the first thing that would happen if we got relegated was half of that fucking first team squad would disappear. Poof, it'd go up in smoke. They'd be gone. They'd be sold.
Oh,
but they'd be gone. And there would absolutely be opportunities then for players to come through, more so than what they would get potentially in the Premier League. You know. Although I do think if players are good enough, if they're good enough with the right manager, they'll still get chances anyway.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, the question is I totally agree. If we go down, which I don't want to happen, and I don't think we will, you'd imagine they'd get more opportunities. But some of them players, if they're having all them scouts at games, if they win the league and the cup, That's very, that's an amazing achievement.
It's superior, isn't it? It's superior.
And
you got to remember,
players next season, them players next season will be going out on loan. A lot of them somewhere, I reckon.
Well, typically every Youth Cup winning team produces a small handful of first team players, right?
Yeah.
So we've got to be very conscious of that. You remember like Joey Cole, Michael Carrick, all of those.
With these 18s, I think Garino says it right down the bottom. Right, he says, "Look, I'd actually quite like to see the youngsters given a chance if we went down. It would help the club to get some identity. Imagine if a crop of young players came through next year and we came back up with those kids. It would be amazing. I think. I mean, look, I don't want to get relegated. I just don't at all. But
no.
Do you know what? Do you know what? Would it be the end of the world if you went down and you had a season like Burnley have just had with Company? Would it be the end of the world?
No, it wouldn't be, and it would be a massive shot in the arm if we could use a couple of those kids and get promoted with them. Yeah. Would be brilliant.
Yes.
I mean, you say that about FA Youth Cup winning team, but you remember the team of '99. Not only did a lot of them players have careers at West Ham, but a lot of them had careers in the Football League at some level. So that, I mean, you had a high level of players from that team that turned professional. So if this team win the league and the cup, you hope that we love it if they was all going to come for West Ham, but they're probably not. You'd love it if they all had a career in football somewhere. That'd be fantastic.
Well, listen, if you could get 3 of them to come through from that team, that would be a huge achievement, right?
Yeah.
It would be,
Moyes was there last night watching them. Wasn't he?
No, so he should have been. Should have been. You're looking at the ground.
And Rice
was looking at the ground. Yeah.
You put them in a 4-2-3-1 and say defence first.
Moyes was doing this.
But he had a word with Kevin Keane afterwards. Say, this is not good enough, Kev. I want your team to play the same as my team. How else are they going to get? How else are we going to advance your youngsters?
But that's very unusual because a club usually play the same style as the first team.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a very unusual thing, because even at my boy plays for and they try and you see that they copy the first team.
That's because
it all goes down from top to bottom.
But that all comes from what we said before, and that's what I was saying when you was talking about Rodgers, and you said he's not a permanent manager. He's not a long-term manager. I don't think it needs to be. I don't think any manager really needs to be, providing you're getting managers in that have got the same philosophy and play the same way. If they burn out and you need to replace them, get another one.
Yeah, and you know what? Most managers are burnt out inside 3 years these days. Anyway,
how many times has Sullivan gone from manager to manager, but a complete style change each time?
Yeah, I know. There's no continuity between managers, so you always have to change the players.
Which means a team rebuild as well.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, that didn't work. We'll go back to doing this.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'll say about Rodgers is that he had 2 almost spectacular seasons with Leicester, where he won the FA Cup. They were finishing
2 top 5 finishes.
Yeah, finishing 2 top 5 finishes, and then the manager got killed in the helicopter crash. Sorry, the chairman got killed in the helicopter crash, didn't he? And then the family have not backed him since, and they've sold some of his best players. They haven't allowed him to make signings because he likes to refresh it season on season. So if you get Rodgers, you've got to give him money every season, right? And then you got a chance of someone having long-term success.
Like I said though the other day, they as a family financially they were in the shit because they run a lot of the duty-free businesses, and obviously during COVID they lost absolute fortunes. So as much as they sold players and did it, couldn't let him buy we wanted or whatever, couldn't invest, they were doing it for the sake of, I suppose, their future and the clubs to some extent. They were trying to.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not blaming them. I'm not blaming them.
I know.
Needs must. But as a manager, if that is what he needs to do, refresh the squad every year, then that's his style, right? It's not really his fault.
100%. Next question, should I go on to?
Yeah, go on, mate.
Yeah, this is from the West Ham fan channel, the Three Hammers.
It's Luke. Yeah.
Yeah, is it Luke? Oh, I didn't see his name anywhere. Sorry. Okay. Oh, so Luke from the West Ham fan channel, the Three Hammers, says, are you optimistic that the board will change by the start of next season? I'm increasingly nervous that Sullivan is addicted to the game, football, and will stay.
I think there's a good chance of that personally. Although I do think if you look at him now, he's looking a little bit haggard. I think he's got his new bird. He's getting older. I think it possibly could be now the time for him to sell up. But I do know what he means. Maybe I'm just being naive. I do think he likes being Billy Big Bollocks. He likes sitting there in a big football stadium in his throne. I think he likes a status.
Oh, listen, we all wish he'd fuck off, right? We do. Do I see it happening? No. No.
No, I don't. I'd love it to happen. I'd love him to be gone. I think that's the only way. That's the only way that we are
going to move on and change.
We're ever going to move on. I think Nigel mentioned it before when we had him on. He said until they go, that stadium is always going to be a stick to beat them with. We're never going to forgive them. And the only way we're going to let go of that and embrace that stadium is when they fuck off.
A new board, a new
board. Because we can't blame the new board for that, you know.
No.
I agree.
So I think it does need to happen. But yeah, everyone, that's the Free Hammers West Ham fan channel. That is Luke. Go and give them a look. They're good guys over there. They're good guys.
How many of them is there?
There are 3 Hammers.
It's good name.
Luke is the main man. They're very good guys.
It's good. We should have been called that then, the Free Hammers.
We could have been, couldn't we? But it had already been taken, John.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We could. Okay, I'll see what you're coming from. Okay, I don't know what I'm talking about. So I've had a few drinks. Daniel Kane, do you think Newcastle will finish top 4? I know there were mistakes, and you played. This is a Geordie actually, and there were mistakes, and you played okay. But I think we outplayed you. It wasn't just mistakes. We made you make some of the errors. All goals mostly come from mistakes.
Yeah.
Yours did. Nick Pope was stranded.
Yeah.
This is a lovely last comment from him. So Daniel Kane, Geordie fan. This is what I was saying about earlier. Actually, he says, "Hope you stay up and love your channel."
Yeah,
this is the worst. But this bit ain't good. He says, especially Nick. So I'm not having.
It's a bit shit. Yeah. Don't feed his ego, Daniel. Don't feed his ego. He's got a big enough head already. But no, yeah. Look, I hope you finish 4th because I'd like you to dump Spurs out of.
I do. Yeah. I feel like that.
Really want you to finish 4th above Spurs. Please do that.
They deserve it. They've had a fucking amazing season.
And there was no luck in that game. I know it was, you called it a close 5-1, John, but really they pressed the life.
It weren't.
They pressed the life out.
Close 5-1.
No. You said it weren't a 5-1 game. That's what you said.
I didn't feel like it was a 5-1 game. No.
But they pressed the life out of us from the beginning, and in a way that forced the mistakes. It forced the errors.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I
thank you very much, Lucas.
Yeah, thanks, Lucas. Cheers, pal. I think he's from Australia.
He's talking about the merchandise. He wants the Virgil pants.
Yeah, there ain't no pants big enough for this head. Look, I know people have a lot of problems with the ownership at Newcastle and all that being basically state-owned, which apparently they're not, but they are. But let's be honest, as football fans, most of us are fickle enough to say probably turn a blind eye if that happened at West Ham. Let's be honest about it.
I was a bit upset about that to start with, as you know, but to be honest, I like the Geordies. I like the Geordies.
But you know what, though? What they haven't done? They haven't done the Man City thing. They haven't They haven't ploughed loads of money into it. They've bought well. They seem like they're doing it properly.
Yeah.
I think, they seem like they're doing it properly. They went out and got a young English manager, in Eddie Howe. I think they're doing it well, so you can't really knock it at all.
If they go,
makes me feel a little bit sick because I'd like Eddie Howe, but it is what it is.
The thing is at Newcastle, what you got to remember is if they're doing this with Eddie Howe, the mindset might be we can finish 4th, get Champions League, but if we go to that next level of manager, we could possibly win the Champions League. If they then change manager and upgrade on Howe and get one of the top super managers in, that's when their ethos of who they buy might change.
Yeah, it will.
Because if they're doing that now, imagine what they could do with more money and bigger names, if you like. But
if they got Guardiola, for instance, after he's finished at City, they'd have to give him a fortune, wouldn't they?
Yeah, of course they would. Yeah, of course they would. But anyway, next one, John.
There's a lot of questions. I should get paid extra for this, shouldn't I? I don't get paid at all. Daniel Wakeman. My question is, do you think getting Di Canio in for the last 10 games would be any worse than getting any of the managers in that we've been heard about the last few weeks? Even if he took us down, I'm 100% it wouldn't be for the lack of effort or negative football.
And the crowd would forgive him. And that's exactly what he did. He kept Sunderland up, didn't he? Then the following season, it all went wrong, but he kept Sunderland up. So I would no way give him a longer term contract, but he's the kind of person that could come in and build people up and get us to play properly, right? Get us to play attractive football. He ain't going to get us to play a defensive game, is he? And he would have. You imagine the atmosphere. Just imagine the atmosphere for a minute in that stadium if Di Canio turned up,
running up and down the touchline like the Italian Barry Fry.
Listen, I would 100% do it. I would. I think it would be unbelievable in there. Right, courtesy of Mickey Smith. This is his contribution to what he thinks that we should be selling as part of our merchandise store. Yeah. So one of the early ones. Cheers for that, Mickey.
Getting right on my fucking nerves, that geezer.
It's good though. Look, it's a good likeness though. Look, and and he's angry. Look, oh no, he's not. He's not at the moment. Hang on, is he angry? No.
Oh, Mickey Smith, you devil, you. This is not a question. Omar Gunny, if and when they decide to appoint a new manager, they must make the correct decision. Problem is they won't. John says, after last week's show, has Virgil considered going into stand-up comedy? No, I'm a Lego man. I can't stand up. On the Facebook page, we've got a question from who's it from? Sorry, from Lewis Erantrout. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Erantrout. So Erantrout.
Yeah.
How do you know?
I know.
That's how you pronounce it.
There's an S at the end.
You're putting the emphasis on the A. It's Erantrout.
Yeah, but you've single. It should be a plural. It's got an S at the end.
We're spending too much on this. Too much.
Come on, John. Get to the question for fuck's sake.
No one bloody tells Mickey Smith about his pronunciation. Jesus
Come on, John.
Christ.
Do you want Daddy to do it? Come on.
Nick, we'll save that for off the camera. Yeah. So Lewis Untrue says. So shut up. So in 24 hours we could be Moyes-less. Get it? Would you be happy with just anyone now as interim boss, or do you think someone like Warburton would be a disaster? He does have more experience than Nolan. I know we covered it briefly, but I didn't read it before I read it out. So go on, Gal.
Well, look, I'd even give Warburton a go. I've got to be honest. You know, having said that, I don't know anything about Warburton. I don't know whether he's good, bad, or ugly. But just like I said, going back to the Moyes thing, just get Moyes out. Just get Moyes out and let people breathe again, right? And I think it shouldn't be Warburton. Breathe. If you're going to go internal, it shouldn't be one man. It should be a pair.
Yeah. No. I think so. Look, for me, if we're recruiting from within, if I could pick my two, it would be Noble. It would be Nolan with Noble.
Yeah,
it would be those two. You know, because I just think that would work as well. Because like I said to you, at this point now, at this stage, you know, they know the players, they know the club inside out, they know what the problems are as well. They will have seen all this shit unfold. Yeah. So they should know what to correct. And all they've got to do is pick a fucking team. But how about? I know it's plenty of water under the bridge since then, but how about bringing Bilic back for the last few games of the season? I would.
Well, get the crowd going as well.
Yeah, he's out at work again, isn't
he? Yeah, can't hold a job down the bloke, can he?
No, but look, he's a very nice guy that would probably be a breath of fresh air after fucking Moyes.
And he would feed their egos. He would feed their egos and build them up, because that's the kind of character he is, right?
Yes.
For a short-term appointment.
Yeah.
This is Absolutely. This is a question in the chat which sort of leads on from this, right? It's a very good question.
Go on.
Who was the last manager we were truly happy with? Harry, Pardew? Difficult, isn't it?
Bilic for me. I was really happy with Bilic. It was the last one I was really happy with. Yeah,
I was really happy with Bilic until we left Upton Park.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of that went to that as well. Also, as we know, Sullivan up until just recently apparently, he used to get involved in all the player recruitment anyway. So I think he got served an absolute fucking shit sandwich in that season when we came back in. We didn't build on that at all, did we? With player recruitment, you know, the players we brought in was shit. Yeah. So maybe not all of them were Sullivan's, but I'm pretty sure the lion's share would have been. You know what he's like. You know, a manager probably would have gone to him. I want this player. No, you can't have him, but I've got a lovely one over here for you.
Yeah. Well, someone said the other day that that's how Ings arrived. He was a present.
Yeah.
Oh, look who's in the house. Nigella. Don't be disappointed if we win, people.
Oh, yeah.
No,
What
don't
would
be
it be?
disappointed that Singh sacked the board at the end. What do you think, Nige? What do you think, Nige?
Nigel's going tomorrow, Gal. Should meet up.
Yeah, I know. Are you going to join me in singing sack the board at the end, Nige? Oh, yeah. Even if we win.
I'll tell you who else is going.
Nigel's got too much moral fibre to have a go to have a go at a manager and hound him and chase him around a one-way system. He's got far too much moral fibre.
He will sing that. Nigel's on board. I've recruited one.
There you go.
Who else is going to them tomorrow? You going to join in?
Andy Miles is going.
Don't leave me singing by myself. I've done that before. It's embarrassing.
I'll tell you who else is going tomorrow, and I've got a question from him.
Go on.
Oh, you got Dudsy. Dudsy's going tomorrow. And he sent in a question on our community page.
What do you think? What do you think, John?
He say, do you believe? I can't do accent. Do you believe it's our European run that's keeping Moyes in his job, Gary?
Yes, I do actually. I do. I think that Sullivan thinks that is the cure to all ills, and if we win that, everything will be forgiven. You know, we're close to a bit of silverware. I think he's thinking of the open top bus tour and everything else. Yeah. By the way, on that note, where would we do the open top bus tour?
Around Westfield. Outside Primark. Yeah, it'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think they'll have all the stop-go signs out and all that shit? Fucking hell. Oh, dear.
Fucking hell.
Oh, hang on. Mickey Smith says, Gal, if you're going to sing tomorrow, don't forget to warm your voice up beforehand.
Yeah. I'll be doing scales outside me. La, la, la.
Yeah, she did do that.
Listen.
I didn't. You're making things up. You're making things up.
You did do it. You know you did.
You're full of shit.
Why do I keep getting all the looky likeys? Now I look like the copper from Hello Hello.
You do.
What about these lot? What about these pair? Look at these ugly fuckers. Who do they look like? Jesus Christ.
Don't deflect. Don't deflect.
Exactly.
I don't think it's the European Cup run or whatever it is that's keeping him in job. I think it's purely the fact that the relegation battle is so condensed. It's so close between so many teams, because usually we'd probably be cut adrift a little bit by now, but we're not, or we'd be worse in a worse situation because it's so tight. It's actually one win and you're a lot better off than, you know. So
I think we're giving him too much credit for thinking about it. I don't think he really thinks about it that much. I think he just thinks that Moyes is the man and he's just going to stick with him. Yeah.
Possibly.
What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I don't know.
How does that look like me?
It does, look.
Hey, what? Do it again. Hang on, wait. I'm ready. Looks nothing like me, you dickhead.
Right, where was we?
Do you think the European Cup is what's keeping him in his job?
Might be. I don't know. I wouldn't have thought so. I wouldn't have thought so at all. It might be the only thing that Sullivan's clinging on to, because he obviously wants to be proved right, and he might think that that's something that you know, if he can get a result in that, because I don't think Sullivan really gives a shit whether we win a cup or not. I don't think he really cares, not that much. It's more about league form. It's more about league for him. There's more money in the league, isn't there? I think you get more money for getting 2 possessions higher in the fucking league than what you do for winning that cup.
Gary's an older version of Tintin.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks. So much abuse. Fucking child catcher Tintin.
That's a good one. That is a good
wicked.
One.
Yeah. I don't care. Call me what you like.
What's he called me? Captain
Haddock. I don't know who that is.
Keith, John, I'd like to know why you are AKA Virgil. Basically, I've got the skills that Virgil have over Hackney Marshes. Nick knows how good I was as a centre-back. Don't you, Nick? Tell him.
He couldn't turn without getting injured, honestly.
No, he injured a lot.
No, he did, yeah. Honestly.
A lot, but, you know, still better than you.
It was always a fucking, it's like a pig squealing every time he fucking turned to chase the ball. What's the matter with you now, John?
Yeah, you'd know how a pig squealed, wouldn't you?
Sharky's got Penfold. They've called me. Look, the fuckers.
Yeah.
Penfold.
That was Danger Mouse's. It was a Danger Mouse.
Mouse's, mate.
Yeah,
I noticed you haven't got up any pictures of Tintin or Penfold, but as soon as someone mentions me, you're getting pictures up.
Yeah.
He had a supersonic sonar radar, or was that Batfink?
Right, here, I've got one
That's
more.
Batfink.
Not really a
Batfink?
question. Not really a question, but just a comment from Colin Beggs.
That's even better. I'm sorry, this one's even better.
You prick, Nicky.
He does. He does. He does. He does. He does.
Potatoes.
That's racist. Why potatoes?
Right, come on, get back to the questions.
It's not really a question, I suppose, but we have covered it. Just quickly, I'll mention it anyway because Colin Beggs has took the time out. Definitely, he emphasises the best Hammers channel on YouTube.
Good man.
We can't waste any more time. Get Brendan Rodgers in now before someone else does. He will be perfect for us. An opinion rather than a question.
Yeah, no. Look. If we could get him in, I think it would be a no-brainer. And do you not think that if Sullivan could get him in now, I think he would. I think the issue might be is like for a manager of that profile. I think like going back to what you said earlier on, John, it probably. It's not an attractive proposition at the moment. He might be thinking, nah, fuck that. I'd write, if they stay up, I might go for it. But the issue that you've got, Nick looks like he works in health and safety. The issue that you've got,
the boring job he's got.
Yeah. Nothing bored about my job. Nothing bored about my job. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I've lost my train of thought now.
Brendan Rodgers must get him there. Brendan Rodgers must get him there.
Yeah, Brendan Rodgers. You've got to get him now because if you leave it to the summer, then there's going to be more fucking clubs out there looking for managers, and he's probably going to have a better. He'll have a better opportunity than West Ham, probably.
No, he won't.
No, this is why you time up now. Get hold of him. Get hold of him before he gets an offer. You know, don't do this Sullivan thing of I'll make him wait and I'll get him for a lower price. It's clearly what he's doing at the moment, right? He's trying to get a bargain, isn't he? You can't get a bargain if you go for a decent manager.
No, this is true. But they do it with. It's like when they're in a fucking transfer window, isn't it? And they drag their heels over a player, you know. And they probably do the same thing with managers, Gary. Do you know, like with the negotiations, it probably takes forever. A manager's probably got a salary that they want, and you've got Sullivan probably dicking around with package and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. Nick did look like Ross just said. Nick did look like Lampard when he was younger.
When I was younger, yeah. What went wrong? Eh?
Yeah.
I had a tough paper round.
You lost weight.
I lost weight.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because a lot of people with the Rodgers thing, I mean, people always say things like this, and I'm not digging you out, Dave. I'm just bringing it up. Brendan Rodgers really overrated. What has he actually done in the Premier League?
Oh, mate.
Well, nearly won the league with Liverpool. He was one slip away
close
from winning it, right?
Yeah.
He won 2 top 5 finishes and an FA Cup with Leicester, and one bad season with Leicester when all these players were sold. So what hasn't he done? I think is a question.
He's done. Yeah, he's done well, and this is what I mean. I think it's going to come down to. I'm not saying that Dave's wrong either. We've all got our own.
No, exactly.
We've all got our own opinions, but this is typical where they'll never be able to please everyone. They won't.
No.
They won't.
No.
I think you got to remember that Rodgers, he was at Chelsea as a coach, and he was a very, very well thought of coach across the football world. So what I'm trying to get at is he is definitely a top coach, if anything else.
That's the thing. That's the key thing. He's a coach.
Yeah. Yes.
He coaches a fucking team.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. And I know he hasn't won trophies in the Premier League and all that. Well, he's won the FA Cup with Leicester. You know, that ain't a bad thing to do. I mean, you know, you know, we can always go on about the nearly winning Liverpool and all that, but you know.
He had an unbelievable squad at Liverpool, yet failed. But so did every other manager, right? They didn't win the league for 30 years. It was only when Klopp came along.
But that's the thing. But Dave, I'd like to know who you think would be better than Brendan Rodgers that we could realistically get. So there's a question for you. So if we're talking about progressive managers, and you're going based on what they've done and what they've achieved, who do you think that we should get in or could get in with a better record, if you're going based on record, than Brendan Rodgers that would play the type of football that we want to play? Who would you go for?
And also, he did.
I'm just going to run and get a beer.
Do well done well at Swansea before he went to Celtic as well, didn't he?
Yeah. He did. He did. Has he done all of them?
I don't know. Has he?
I think he has. He just.
Has he reached the bottom?
He's reached the bottom. He's gone through.
I thought there were more than that.
I mean, look. Garino says Rodgers seems a bit Pardew. Does well initially, but then implodes. Possibly, but like we said earlier on, I think the average. What's the average lifespan of a Premier League manager now, Gary? It's a couple of years, isn't it? 2.5 years, 3 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
That's it. So it's all you need.
Yeah.
We want someone to embed that sort of philosophy. That's why I wasn't against bringing Bielsa in. Not now, obviously, but if we was to bring him in at the start of the season, there you've got your manager that will embed a philosophy in the team and in the club, and then if and when it does implode because all the players start falling over because of the way he makes them press, then what you can do is you can bring the next manager in to refresh it, providing you don't do what Sullivan has always done through his time at West Ham, which is change style. It goes from, right, that's fouled, we better stop that now. Let's go to a pragmatist. Now we'll go to a footballing style. He's got no idea, the guy, honestly.
No. This is a great point, isn't it, from Gary. He says, what has Newcastle's coach won, i.e. Eddie Howe? I don't hear anyone poo-pooing his appointment.
This is true,
great point, isn't it? It is a good point. I know Rodgers has been around a lot longer in managing, but, it's a great point.
He's still relatively young, though, Rodgers, isn't he?
58, maybe 58.
Is he that old?
He's got to be, isn't he? Got to be.
I mean, Nigel said there. So, do you advocate changing managers every 2 to 3 years? If that's the way it's got to be, why not? I mean, I'd rather have a manager that was there for the long term. But look, at the end of the day,
it's
the way the modern game's the modern game has gone now. Maybe it's the way modern footballers are. Maybe they need new faces, new ideas. Maybe that's what they need. I mean, I think the only way that you could do it, for instance, Ferguson, he recognised this for his tenure at Man United. He used to rotate the coaching staff every 2 years, 3 years, didn't he?
Yeah,
so he always had fresh,
a lot in and out. Yeah,
always had fresh faces there, and I think that's important, and that's what I think we need to. That's what I'd like to see. Even if it isn't the manager, the man at the front, you do need.
How about Pardew as a caretaker? Pardew as a caretaker manager?
I'd take Pardew. Yeah,
I would as well. Yeah.
I'm not so sure. If I'm honest with you.
Yeah, listen.
What, as a caretaker? Why?
I just don't see the point. He's been nothing since he left us. I mean, what's he done? He's had a spell in Holland, lasted about a month. I mean, I just don't see the point in that. It's like going back a long way, innit? I don't know what you're trying to achieve with that.
Well, I'm talking about
no. We're talking about to the end of the season, John.
Yeah,
just someone to do a recovery
not
job.
Permanently.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I just don't see the point in that. That to me is you might as well just go for the coaches that are there.
Yeah, I get that, John, but we're talking about like Sullivan is obviously not going to do that.
It's a character.
You're saying if I had to choose a caretaker, who would it be?
Yeah.
Like a character who can build the players' confidence up, and I think Pardew is a character like that.
More so than Kirbishley.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Going back is generally a mistake, but
I think David Everett's shooting a little bit too high.
yeah,
just a little, mate.
But no, I think changing managers every 2 or 3 years. No, I mean, what I'd like to achieve.
I personally don't mind it. It doesn't bother me.
What I'd like to achieve, building on a lot of stuff we've said tonight, what I'd like to achieve is the Brighton approach, not necessarily the Brighton model, because not everyone can do that, and they've got their own secretive way of doing it. But I'm talking about the principle, the strategy, which is, and someone put it perfectly the other day, it was a great analogy, where they said Brighton, they build the car, and the manager just has to drive it.
Exactly.
Oh, I love that. That.
Yeah,
it's brilliant. Yeah,
very good point. It's exactly that, which is why the move from from Potter to De Zervio, is it? What's his name?
Yeah, it's just worked seamlessly, isn't it?
I was going to say seamless, but yeah,
it's been seamless, and I think there's another. It's not just Brighton. I know Brighton are they're the I suppose a pin-up club for that type of model. But Brentford are also extremely well run. So when people talk about their manager as well, you got to think, has he ever had to manage in a fucking idiot environment like what what West Ham is.
Yeah.
Because there is no leadership there, is there, at our club? It's not.
No,
It's a rudderless ship from top to bottom. It's ridiculous.
That's my worry, by the way, that Rodgers will go Spurs. I think they're going to go for their old manager, though, aren't they? Pochettino at the end of this.
I don't know. Wouldn't he have been in
I
by
don't
now?
think
He'd have been
they
in.
would have- Why would
He'd
they
have
not
been in.
Why would they not have approached him already?
He'd have been in by now. He would have
Because
been in by now.
he would have, because if he's going to say wait till the summer, see where you are.
Yeah.
well, you
No, he
could have-
wouldn't. Pochettino wouldn't have done that. If they'd have approached
No.
him, he'd have gone there.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He would have gone, no,
Yeah.
I will come in and I will make sure we're in the Champions League
Yeah.
for next season. So I agree with Nick. I don't think Levy wants to be seen to be going back on what the decision that he obviously made when he got rid of him. I mean,
Yeah.
I still never really understand why they got rid of him, if I'm honest with you. I think it's ridiculous, but
Yeah.
No, it was. John, have you got any more
Scaloni.
questions?
no, I've done all the
See where we
questions,
were.
mate. I've done all the questions, mate. All the
You've
questions
done
I've
them all.
done.
You've done them all.
Yeah,
Go on,
yeah,
then. Do you
yeah,
want to go and flick through the rest of the comments then, and then we'll wrap up.
Right, let's have a look. Hang on. Where are we?
Because this is the Boozecast, and this is what we usually do in private on a Thursday night, really late. We do a pre-record. So we're just doing
Yeah.
it live for once because we felt
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah,
Why not?
exactly that.
Yeah.
Chris Harris says, as long as there's continuity, then change managers when required. Again, this comes down to a competent director of football and owner, I suppose, as well. I'd add to that. I don't know who this geezer is, but everyone keeps telling me, John, you look like Captain Haddock. I have no idea what that means. Ferguson was a Mark Robbins goal away from being sacked. That's right. Was it against Norwich or something? Is that right in the game? I remember
Yes,
that.
he was. Yeah. Who bailed him out? Who was
I
it?
can't
Who,
remember.
who scored that goal in the cup final? Whiteside. Norman Whiteside, I think, saved his job.
Bloody hell.
Or was it? Was it Mark Robbins? Oh, he's just said a Mark Robbins goal. Oh, there
No,
you
Mark
go.
Robbins.
Yeah.
Mark Robbins was in the cup
Yeah,
game against
yeah.
Norwich or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Whiteside
Um,
scored in the final with that one, if I'm right.
Trucking Hammer says, get Rodgers in and send Leicester down on the last game of the season.
Oh, imagine that.
Oh, that'd be. It's got to be appealing to him, isn't it?
That'd be brutal, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Babbleman 1 says, get Pardew in for marriage guidance. And
Yeah.
Steve Tiley develops that with only one thing with Pardew is players would have to be careful. Remember, he shagged Cole Fletcher's wife.
Nothing goes unfucked when Pardew's around.
No,
you know that.
no, that's it.
Keith Knight says, I think we have more than enough talent already there in the back seats. Give Nolan, Keane, Noble, either or. So he'd be happy with using any one of the backroom staff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. We could do worse than Scott Parker, especially if we go down, took Fulham and Bournemouth up. Yeah, if we go down, it opens a up. If we go down, it's a totally different sort of manager you can get or try and get. I think
Yeah.
it's about what happens if we stay up or trying to stay up, isn't it? Where are we? Sorry.
I think what you're looking at then, if we get relegated, then you're definitely in my mind looking at potentially a more risky but exciting appointment. Maybe someone like a Will Steele, someone like that. I think that might be a route that you take. Maybe. Then, like Carrick has done now. I mean, obviously he ain't gonna. If I doubt he'll be looking to move from Middlesbrough to another Championship club, but.
Jamie Tedman says, Scaloni, great shout. Owes us one after FA Cup. Bring him back. We can go after Alvarez and attacking football again with passing and spirits of players up, dedicated to winning games.
I think Argentina might have something to say about that. He's the World Cup winning manager.
I know. Bail out
Jonathan Boyce says, whenever the managers go and see the ball, it's like going to see the clowns at the circus. Yeah. Very true. There's a lot of comments.
Do you know we haven't spoken about, and that's Mancini, who he's come out in the Italian press and said he wants to manage in the Premier League again.
Right.
Mancini. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that from you.
Yeah. So what would you say about him, Mancini?
Yeah, cool. So I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no to that at all.
I'd jump at it. Yeah. God.
Leonardo Barr, the reason I think Rodgers hasn't gone to Spurs is because he isn't a great name that the fans will back, and also Harry Kane's situation. You can't promise him staying for another season, I suppose, based on getting someone like Rodgers. Yeah, so maybe. But I mean, Kane's massive mates with Pochettino, isn't he? Pochettino, whatever his fucking name is.
Pochettino.
Pochettino. That's good.
Yeah.
Cappuccino, was that? What
Cappuccino.
Was that? Sorry, my grasp of the English language. West Ham are the best team in the battle. Southampton, Bournemouth, and one more. Great confidence there. Hang on.
I don't think Bournemouth are, mate. I think Bournemouth will pull out of it. I've got to be honest.
This must be another fan. Morgul Blade. Is it a Geordie fan? Good luck for the rest of the season, lads. Hope you stay up. Back-to-back wins in your mid-table. It's really tight down from 12th.
Yeah.
True enough. That's a good point.
It is.
Gary in Australia. Cheers, boys. You three, Moyes Coutiers, and The Voice are my favourite YouTubers. Oh, and also a fan of Nigel's too. Don't tell Nigel that, for fuck's sake. Hope you ain't watching it. Go to his head, isn't it? There's loads of comments. I mean, do you want me to pull them up more, or are we done?
No, I think that's it. We're done. We'll wrap up now, I think. Go on, Gal. Do you?
Yeah, no. Thanks for all your comments. It's been brilliant. So look, let's hope we can get a win tomorrow, and let's hope if we don't get a win tomorrow that Moyes ain't around for much longer. Either way, it's going to be an exciting and eventful weekend, and we will see you on Sunday night on the Boozer. Apart from John, because he's slacking, he's having like how long off?
Arriba! 10 days in Spain.
10 days. Very nice. Very nice.
It's ridiculous. I'll tell you what, you show no commitment to this channel, John.
I know, but you know what? When I come back, I will be more handsome than I am now. Imagine that.
Is that possible?
People will probably tell me I look like Brad Pitt and stuff in the chat when I come back, I reckon. That's what's going to happen. I'm telling you.
All right, now, until next time, see you soon. Come on, you irons.
Come on, you irons.